So a bunch of game news outlets and of course content creators recently got their hands on the full mode of Watch Dogs Legion Online, and in this video I'll be bringing you some brand new information about just exactly what the online co-op mode is, as well as some thoughts and opinions from myself as well as many of the other news journalists out there. So guys and girls, if you're going to enjoy this Watch Dogs Legion video, make sure to smash that subscribe button and like the video for more Watch Dogs Legion content. But without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Now first, Chris Livingston from PC Gamer says that you'll probably begin playing Watch Dogs Legion's online co-op mode the same way he did, with everyone just sort of messing around in the open world, trying to run each other over with remote controlled cars, clambering onto cargo drones and flying around the city, making a big mess by blowing things up, terrifying the locals, getting cops after you, and eventually everyone winding up dead or arrested. He goes on to say that it's fun and that using hacks and gadgets and weapons to smash up London into single player is of course chaotic and silly, but with 3 co-op partners it's even more ridiculous. Plus, if you're accidentally planted into the pavement by a reversing exploding car, there's someone around to revive you so your agent won't have to do a stint in the hospital or the jail. Now of course, once you've had some fun making futuristic London a worse place by causing these accidents and blowing a bunch of shit up, you'll eventually have to get down to business. Now in the session he played, he goes on to say that himself and 3 teammates tackled a few co-op missions in the online mode, and they tried out the Spiderbot Arena, which allowed for 8 players to basically go one-on-one and have an all-out brawl as Spiderbots. They then ended it with the Tactical Operation, a long multi-part mission that requires a lot of coordination from your partners. Now apparently the new co-op missions aren't at all different from single player missions. You infiltrate a location, you hack a server, you steal data, rescue a friendly NPC, destroy a database, or even make off with a vehicle. But apparently with 4 new players in co-op, the amount of enemies and toughness of those enemies is jacked all the way up. Now when you're going into this, you can basically do it any way you want. There's no overall main approach, and the mission design allows for players to freely operate in whichever way they want to complete the mission. But according to Chris, his missions always seem to end with them being pinned down behind cover as reinforcements swarmed their location and data from the final hijacked server ever so slowly trickled into their phones before they were allowed to leave the arena. So expect, if you go in all guns blazing, there to be a crap ton of guards at your location almost instantly. Now talking about the first co-op mission, they had to take down the Red Blade. Now the Red Blade is a faction of Albion heavies that have truckloads of stolen documents and photos to blackmail various officials. Now after sneaking into their facility and subduing a few members, the stealth went a bit sideways and they had to blow up the trucks and hold off waves of soldiers piling onto a boat battling some turrets on an island. So this just goes on as more proof to say that depending on how you approach the mission, it can have varying outcomes to which your player will want to go with. For me personally, I will always try to do stealth because it's more fun than going in gun blazing. But of course, if something happens, i.e. I trip up or I accidentally blow something up, which is more than likely, all guns blazing is the way to go. Just in Watch Dogs Legion, make sure you have an operator selected that is very well equipped to take on heavy guards. Don't do what I did and use a little old lady with just a stun gun. That's not a good thing to do. Now apparently one of the most fun moments he actually had in the game was at the end of the mission. He took a getaway car as cops and drones chased them. They eventually shook them off, except for the 2 final drones, and the co-op partner and himself disabled one of the drones simultaneously. The 2 drones then crashed into each other and exploded as they sped to safety, giving their escape a little cool moment. Now this is the type of thing I expected to see in Watch Dogs Legion Online. If you're playing with a co-op player and you're both communicating very well, then these types of things will happen and these scenarios will occur a lot more frequently than they did in the base single player game. Something I'm very excited to play with when I can get my hands on the online mode. Then he goes on to talk about tactical operations and how they are entirely different from the co-op missions. Now these are long, difficult 5-part missions facing multiple objectives and powerful enemies. In this session he says he got through 4 parts and they got pretty close to finishing the 5th before running out of time, though they did have their entire squad wiped more than 2 times. Now apparently to him the tactical ops felt like missions from the Division 2, long semi-exhausting slogs through waves of overpowered enemies and a lot of time spent hunkered down behind covering, calling out threats to one another. Now of course there is fun in playing with the groups, but it's also good to split up once in a while. Now part of the tactical op required them to hack 2 servers in different parts of the city at the same time, meaning their team of 4 had to split into pairs. Now 2 separate infiltrations infiltration missions had to succeed at the same time, and then each pair had to hold off the reinforcement swarms. If one pair then failed, the entire mission failed. Apparently it took a few tries, but they eventually succeeded, and there was something cool about synchronizing their efforts even though they were in different locations. Now this is something that is expanded upon from the very first Watch Dogs game. Of course, you guys know that in the online mode you could do these different missions, you can do these different objectives to hack people, and it was all fun and it was enjoyable, and of course we have races and all that stuff, but this is just going that extra step further to give players a more chance of freedom and basically cool cinematic moments that we wouldn't really get in another online game. Now apparently the fifth and final part of their tactical op will be very familiar to anyone that's played Legion's single player campaign. Now at the end, a giant mech boss is pounding you with missiles and gunfire in a fairly small lab without much cover. Stealth absolutely is no option, and guards are swarming in from different locations, and enemy drones are making appearances from time to time. Now Chris goes on to say there were a few things added, that one player had to successfully pilot a drone through an obstacle course to lower the mech's defenses, while the rest of the team had to battle enemies and protect the drone pilot from taking fire. This was a brutal exercise for them and not a whole lot of fun for someone who prefers to stay out of sight and hijack drones rather than going toe to toe with an enemy. Now he goes on to say that this will definitely be a nightmare mission if you try to tackle it with strangers who aren't on mics for coordination. They would have eventually beat it if they got further into the fight, but unfortunately they ran out of time. Now for the final part, he goes on to talk about the Spiderbot Arena. He goes on to say that it felt like the weakest offering in Legion's online mode. You and up to 7 other players run around a small arena using bots, grabbing power-ups like missiles and lasers, and you just try to blow each other up. Apparently that's just it, and after 2 death matches lasting a few minutes each, he felt like that was it. But Spiderbots versus people, that's insanely fun, but Spiderbots versus Spiderbots isn't that thrilling. Now apparently they didn't get to try out the invasion mode, where you sneak into another player's single player game without them knowing. Hopefully we'll find out more about this when Watch Dogs Legion's online mode releases on March 9th, in just a couple weeks actually, which is pretty exciting. Now a bunch of other content creators and news outlets around the world have said that Watch Dogs Legion online mode adds something new to the game that it really did need. Playing with your friends and playing with even random players, if they have their mics in, is a thrilling and exciting gameplay moment, and it's something that is incredibly fun to play. Of course, without the timer, it will be very interesting to see just what happens at the end of this new invasion mission and tactical ops mode. I also wonder how the other tactical operations will play out. Will there be one that's just purely stealth, where if you get caught or someone finds you, you then have to restart it? Maybe, maybe not. I'm hoping that could be a thing, just because I feel like it could be exciting, and then being able to escape as a James Bond, Jason Bourne, Tom Cruise-esque action adventure hero would be quite interesting and fun to see. I'm also excited to see more about the DLC, but of course we'll have more about that in the future. Guys and girls, I hope you have enjoyed this video. It's just a quick breakdown of Watch Dogs Legion's online mode. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, click that button down below, and do not forget to subscribe for some more Watch Dogs Legion's videos and information. I hope you all have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next video.